Greetings, family, and welcome to another episode of Dr. Mumbi's Spiritual Show. My name is Dr. Mumbi Saraki. How you doing? How's everything going? I'm reporting live and direct, family, from 7D Reality, sending you all the love, all the bliss, all the joy, and also all the courage to make it through this season. Because, you know, as I've always said, family, we are in the best of times as much as we are in the worst of times, and it's very important to maintain that, that all-important balance at such a time as this. Special shout out to the sponsors of this show, Ruby Finance. They have actually organized a beautiful spiritual and business trip to the Gambia, and it will be taking place in November, family. And you can go to their website, rubyfinance.ca, where you can get all the details. They will be having an informational session. The last informational session was actually July 26th, and the next informational session will be towards the end of the month, around the 29th or the 30th. So definitely check on their website, or definitely you can always email me as well, or follow us on Twitter, and we'll definitely be announcing when those information sessions are. So they're organizing this amazing business and spiritual trip to the Gambia, where there'll be a lot of interaction with people, potential local partners, potential land sellers. There'll also be like a spiritual journey, and Ruby Finance has actually been doing a lot of work in the Gambia. So definitely at least go check out their website, and definitely tune in to their information service. So family, the main message today, from the bottom of my heart, is just to wish you all the courage and the strength and the perseverance, because I think one thing many of us were not expecting is that when we landed in 5D, literally landed in paradise, that it would be such almost like a knee-jerking experience, family, if I can put it like that, it would bring up such profound issues that needed to be resolved, pain, some really deep, complex post-traumatic stress disorders that we have kept in our body memory, that are finally, because we've released so much, we're now finally getting to the root of many of our problems. And so, 5D and above has not been exactly a walk in a park, family, but it will be worth it. And that's all I want to say today, because there's so much. A lot of you have reached out to me where you've said that there's been some really deep, mourning for the you that wasn't loved right, for the you that wasn't seen right, for the you that was mistreated. And a lot of chosen ones, I've done so many videos about chosen ones. People have asked me about chosen ones. It's basically the cosmic beings that are here right now. Not everyone has that God spark, family. Even skin folk, not everyone who looks like this is a God on earth. But there are those who are chosen, and I feel like I'll do a whole separate show on the chosen ones, like an updated 2023 very soon, so keep an eye out for that. Make sure you're subscribed. But it's like, because we've reached such high sophisticated levels of thinking, of expression, of being, it requires such a lightness of being and a lightness of spirit. That's why now I really understand why they say that, when we're crossing over, we're measured against the feather, the whole Ma'at thing, where your heart is put on the same weighing scales as a feather. It makes so much sense to me, because you have to be lighter and lighter, family. And that's why we should be giving thanks right now that a lot of the deep-seated issues that some of us may have not even been aware of are now coming up for us to reflect on them, to heal that side of us that was abused, misused, misplaced, and to release that. Because these are those deep, deep, deep fundamental issues. And it's funny, family, because I mean, if you've been following my show for a couple of years, I have not made it I've not made it a secret about the fact that I was sacrificed to a deity, when I was 2 years old. And there's so much I've shared about my journey, family. And I really thought, in sharing, I've really felt a massive healing. But I really thought that I had reached kind of a place where I was okay with it. I was good with it. And, I've been living my best life in 5D, partying, just being on the beach, just really like full joy in my life, if I can say that. And then during these 777 portals, please just check out the video I recently did on that. I suddenly started getting some deep-seated pain kind of bubbling up to my consciousness. And as I did that, Spirit led me to look into complex post-traumatic stress disorder and to look at childhood, which is basically when you were traumatized over and over and over and over again as a child. Be it by the school system, be it by your mother, be it by your father, be it by your siblings, be it by bullies in school, and there was no way out. There was no escape for you. That's what your mind was led to believe by many of your abusers. That you reach this sense or this place of hopelessness and a feeling of helplessness. And so it's almost like you just had to suck it up and keep it pushing. And that feeling of hopelessness, you can heal the child in you, family. You can do a lot to kind of bring it up, talk about it with a trusted counselor, a trusted friend, and kind of just let it get out of your system. Journal, write it out, get it out of your system. But I think we're in the season now where we need to address those feelings attached to what we went to or to what we went through. Those feelings of helplessness, of hopelessness, of deep-seated anger. I shared a show about how one of the main gatekeepers to my growth and rising into 7D, if I can put it like that, was my deep-seated anger. And releasing that anger took me to the next step. But what I've realized now, family, is we're getting to those fundamental issues where to you may think and feel like you're okay, you've dealt with a lot of things, but your loving, gentle, caring, spiritual team is now bringing us up to those real, raw issues, family. And they're revealing it in ways that really surprised me because, as I said, I was led to... So I recently moved to my dream house, family. And for the last week or two, I've been dealing with so much clutter in the house, just trying to get everything everywhere, realizing, I have some things that are old energy that I was trying to bring into this new space and just sorting that out. But I can't seem to get rid of the clutter. And so when I started looking into childhood post-traumatic stress disorder, I started to, and on YouTube, and I was looking at different psychologists talking about it. And, the more when we are informed of something, when we hear something, it shifts everything, family. When we become aware of something, that is when the healing begins. It doesn't begin when you go to the psychologist. It begins when you become aware that there is an issue and there's a problem. And so it was talking about how clutter is linked to people who have suffered from childhood traumas or from complex traumas. And it's a sign that on some deep level, you're still suffering from complex post-traumatic stress disorder. And so I kind of did an audit of my life, and I realized, especially, I've always had a space which I use for work or something. And in whether it was my office, whether it was a separate room, and that room has always been so messy and so cluttered. Where I kept my journals, where I kept my medicine woman tools, all of that. It was always so cluttered and everything. And when this came to me about how clutter is associated with our trauma, Family, it took me a step back. And I actually had to just sit there with myself and really look at my life and look at how, okay, I'm still in transition. It takes a while to move into a new home, but why was I creating clutter as I was moving into my new space, into my new 7D reality? What in me was still hoping, what clutter was still in my mind? What clutter was still in my heart? What clutter was still in my soul? These are the questions I started asking myself, family. And it's almost like with all my boxes and everything, I had to take a time out and sit with myself and literally declutter my heart and my mind. And I don't know, family, it's like I've never cried as much as I've cried in July, and I'm not depressive. I'm living my best life. I'm in such a good place, but there's these very deep emotions that are coming up. Let me know if this is your experience. Of course, you can share it in the comments below, or you can email me. Keep it brief. Keep it brief, family, please. drmumbi at drmumbishow.com. And what I found is like I am now taking myself through a kind of therapy, because where I live, there are no real quote-unquote therapists, family. But there's so much good information online. And I've found that I have had to now, as I am putting everything in its rightful place in my new home and decluttering, especially like the office where I do all my work and stuff, and make sure that everything is in its place. I'm also being aware of what is coming up and bubbling up in my mind, wanting to declutter my mind. So family, a lot of us have done so much healing that to ourselves, if we look at ourselves, if we look at some of the things that we used to suffer from, we don't suffer from those things anymore. So we may think that we have reached a certain point where we're okay and we're good, but we could be better. And that's one thing I realized is I'm good. And I know I don't want to feel that, go into that, dip into that vibe again. But I must, because I do not want to carry the 3D mentality into my new reality. And 3D mentality is anger, pain, anguish, hurt, heartbreak, abuse, rape, all these things, cheating, all of those things, all those negative, very animalistic and beastly emotions and thought processes. And so family, I have now had to take myself through my own little therapy session where, I am listening. I've found some good psychologists that I have shared on Patreon. Definitely consider supporting us on Patreon, where I do actually have much more intimate conversations and share much more intimate, information on there. Some of the psychologists that I found that are helping me in this season. And it's also made me realize that we as a melanated people, as a black nation, we're also suffering from collective post-traumatic stress disorder, family, from collective shame, from collective gaslighting and all of this, and not just from like our parents and our nearest and dearest, but from the society. Like the society has mentally abused us. That's the only way they could live. Mental enslavement is mental abuse, family. Stories for the days. I'll do a whole separate show on the collective. But mine is only to say, and I really hope like someone will get something out of this, even if it's just that boost of encouragement, that we are really getting to some core pain and just flow through it, allow it to come up and be released, because what is waiting for us on the other side, if you entered 5D, I know you've already tasted that life of pleasure, of luxury, of joy, of happiness, of creative magic, of creative miracles. Before we were told, okay, just work on let's pull it back a little bit and just work on this a little bit, work on that a little bit, and then, before you can now go there and beyond. So for me, what has really helped is like knowing that I suffer from CPTSD, complex post-traumatic stress disorder, or childhood post-traumatic stress disorder. If you guys were abused or mistreated in any way as a child, please look into that, Google it, YouTube it. And I am literally just taking myself through overstanding, understanding, and understanding that the whole concept, because in my understanding is my healing. And when I hear people talk about it and share their stories, and the psychologists share what people are going through, this is Arrow, hey Arrow, my co-host, it really does help family to take me step by step to my healing. And I really believe now, as I've been saying, that we are officially on spiritual time, family, which means that it's no longer about this physical reality. I know, actually I don't believe, I know we're on spiritual time, and I know that we are, many of us who are here as chosen ones, cosmic beings, have actually tapped, we're now being guided fully family, by our spiritual team, by beings that we may not be seeing. They are the ones who are now in charge of our teaching. They are the ones who are now in charge of our healing. So trust the process, family, and listen to those promptings in your own heart that tell you that something is not right. Don't try and sweep anything under the rug, family, because in you letting go and you understanding, understanding, and overstanding what happened to you, that's step one. And through step one, you're able to let it go. That's where now you get into this life of true magic, joy, and happiness, family. But those are stories for other days. Definitely check out Ruby Finance. If you've been thinking of making a trip to the Motherland, November is the month that Ruby Finance is doing an amazing group trip to the Gambia. It will be both spiritual and business. There'll be opportunities to meet local partners that you could work with, to hear the success stories of those who have relocated, to interact with the diaspora, and also to spiritually reconnect to the motherland. It's limited spaces, family. Limited spaces available, so definitely be in touch. Until next time. Tuko pamoja.
Owning your African real estate is one click away. Ruby Finance is a Black-owned real estate agency helping Afro descendants invest and relocate in Africa. Act now and save your spot in paradise.